In this video, I've combined the best tips for space combat from Reddit, the best YouTubers, and from my skull. These tips, like from the previous videos, are mechanics you may not have heard of or used. These aren't always the best to do, so use at your own discretion. The first example is changing your governor. So, what you can do is recruit your governor until you get a retired fleet officer if you are using governors. This makes ship build speed plus 20% and ship cost minus 10%, which is insane if you're starting to build up your fleet. If you have rulers instead, there are separate traits that you can get, and these are corvette focus, destroyer focus, cruiser focus, and battleship, which take away the build cost by 20%, which is very nice. For these, you need the destroyer technology for the corvette and destroyer, and cruiser technology for the cruiser, and battleship for the battleship. And for the retired fleet officer, you need interstellar fleet traditions. Yeah, you can change these over, but what if you've got a cool science guy that you want as your main leader? If you have science cities, what you can do, switch to the retired fleet officer and then build all your ships. So as you can see, if we use destroyers as an example, we have 290 alloys and free exotic gases with the retired fleet officer, but if we go back to the science guy, more alloys. So what you can do, switch to the fleet officer, we got the cheaper cost, and just build as many destroyers as you want, and then once you've already built them, you can just switch straight over without even having to unplay. The cost, if you saw, the alloys did not go up. The speed doesn't stay for the ones that are queued up, but the cost does. So if you still want them out quickly, you're gonna need to keep the retired fleet officer on every time it re-ups it to here. See, it's 96 now, 85. So every time it starts building, that's when the cheaper time happens, but your cost will stay. Okay, so next is cycling admirals. As you may already do, you already assign an admiral. You might just pick the first one that seems good, like, oh, we've got a trickster, cool, we'll get a trickster. But what you can do, similar before, is actually have a few leaders that do different things. So we can have an engineer, which will heal up our fleet, and we can have a light speed guys. So the way I'd have these three.
Prepare for trouble. You're the cellmates now.
Make it double with the really big wow.
An evil as old as the galaxy.
Sent here to fulfill our destiny.
Don't forget me.
And if this fleet, I want to get them somewhere, I can put on the 10% sublight speed, and now they can get to the place quickly. And then when I want them to engage, if I'm running a disengagement sort of battle, we can put the trickster on. You can switch the trickster to the more range or more damage. And then say we've won that battle and we want to hold this point for a bit, but we can't heal. We can switch over to the engineer, which will then heal our ships up. It's quite annoying to maybe keep these. Just having these around, if you have one big fleet, it'll become more complicated when you have multiple fleets. It's not too bad. It'll definitely help you win some more battles without having to retreat or get into places faster. You don't have to sacrifice healing for damage or fire rate. If we're running this disengagement style of fighting, they will disengage a lot. So say we are fighting the Malqui coalition. So we have this fleet here, and if they were over here, we'd have them on the border waiting, or if we pushed in. Now, if we retreat right now, there's no home base set. I think it would usually go to the capital. So what you want to do is actually set your home base to a starbase that is nearby, so you don't have to travel all the way back. If you lose a close battle, say in Daria or Diarrhea, you don't want to retreat all the way back over here. It'll take ages to get back. You'll lose planets and systems, and it will just put you in a disadvantage. You'll leave your very well protected starbase alone. You can set your home base to say Tourville, which is behind sign base, or you can, if you didn't want to do that, you can come here and right click and set as home base. You can either set there or to Sabad. It's usually safer to not do it on the border so they have time to repair. This will help you even more if you're even further away, and this will help you not lose mass amount of territory. If you do lose a very close battle, maybe you can heal up and reinforce here and take them quicker. Yeah, I definitely recommend doing that. It's one of the easier things you can do to easily win more battles. The next tip is to like and subscribe. If you want more of these videos and you want to be notified when you see them, subscribe, hit the bell, and it helps me out a bunch. Also, like 90% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so please, I beg. The next tip is to use your transport ships to tank the alpha strikes of your enemy. So here we have 10 artillery battleships against each other. The only difference is we have one that has a worthy sacrifice of 1.5k transports. And I don't know how the numbers affect it. That might be something cool to test. Montu, please. I don't want to do numbers. It's quite finicky to sometimes get to work, but essentially you're just trying to make the transport ships in front to tank the first strike. So we are now at war with identical ships. And what we'll do, we will force them to attack our ship. I'm going to try and use the transport to tank the first strike. So as you can see, they are coming for us, and we're gonna wanna try and get in. So we should win this engagement, even though it's completely even. As you can see, we only lost 1 battleship and they lost 4. All because we just tanked the first strike. And you can probably do this better. I'm not the best at it, but use this to your heart's content. You can do this early game. Obviously with artillery it's more effective because the first strike is really important, but this is how you counter those dirty neutron launcher spammers. The next thing you can do is you can actually split off ships that are damaged to go and repair. So we can transfer them like this. So this one's fine. This has only got shield damage, only shield, only shield. This one have hull and armor damage. So now that we've got them separated, we can just send them off to repair. And we've got a nice healthy fleet that we could have continued pushing in if we weren't in an experimental zone. Say if the battle was over here, we could keep going with the 2 ships that were fine. And you can scale this up and it just saves a lot of time. Obviously the shields are going to regenerate, as you can see, and we're at full strength. And these 2 ships have just gone to heal. You don't have to send your entire fleet though. Okay, so the next step is to actually design your ships. You might have thought I was using neutron launchers in that combat, and the recommended battleship's a bit weird. It's not really got a purpose. It's why they're disruptors. They're awful. I'm not going to go into the specifics of the fleet designer. There are videos out there by Montu and Stefan. If you want a guide video on ships, let me know, but I don't think I can add any more than what they've already done. If you're against long-range ships like artillery battleships, what you can do is place your closer range ships. We've got destroyers that have medium weapons, plasma and kinetic. What you can do is you can place them right where they jump, so you can bait the artillery in and jump them straight away. Seems a bit obvious if you look at military tactics. You want to get close to the artillery, but you can do this in Stellaris. So we're going to first run a test without using this trick and see what happens. So we're going to save the game first, and we're going to send our fleet in and see what happens. Who will win?
Stellaris.
Okay, well, it looks like I accidentally stomped that battle, but we did lose a few destroyers. We'll see the losses compared to, we had 45 left on that one, and we'll see what happens when we change up the tactic. Now, the ships do counter a lot, but you can take advantage of this in other circumstances too. So we're expecting to win. We had 71 before, so we did take a lot of casualties. And remember, the battleships did jump out. So we're going to jump in right on top of our destroyers and see what happens. I think this works more if you're using leaders and buffs. I think we saved 2 destroyers, maybe if we were more heavily utilizing the fact, but you can come away with small losses doing this. Enjoyed this video? Then you'll definitely enjoy this one. Diarrhea. Stupid.